Right guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman YouTube channel at the Hunter Collective. Today we've got Kieran in the chair. How are you doing, mate?
All good, all good.
You good?
Yeah.
So, what's the plan? What do you want to do?
I think if you can just give me like some clean sides, maybe take a little bit off the top, just something to clean myself up.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Are you loving to like, do you normally have like the curls naturally, or do you tend to, is this just from today, or?
This is actually just like permed. And
oh, right, okay.
What I would have to do is I would just wet my hair, put a bit of like gel in it, just to keep the kind of messy look.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's just gotten a bit too messy around
the side. Around the sides. Yeah, that's it. That's cool, yeah. So you got a perm, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Naturally, my hair is just super straight.
Yeah, I've got you.
It's like panda hair, and it just goes straight out. So it's hard to deal with sometimes.
Yeah, and the problem is as well though, when you get a perm on top and you've got super straight back and sides, you've got two different textures of hair. Exactly. So yeah, keeping the back and sides short is good. Awesome. What length would you like to go down to on the back and sides?
You know what? I think I wouldn't mind your recommendation. To be fair, whatever you feel like would, because I've gone for the clean shaven, and I've gone for something that's just a bit more natural.
Okay.
I'm down for whatever, really, to be honest.
Do you know what I would say, personally, is the shorter you go, the better it would be. Okay. Only because you've got a contrast of texture. So you've got your straight, natural hair, and then you've got your perm. So I always find that with the sides as well, being such a different texture, it's going to start to change your look a little bit. So I honestly would suggest, short as you want to go, I would even suggest a skin fade, to be honest, personally. I'm down. Because I think the less hair you have of your natural hair will make the whole look different, because all you'll see is curls. You won't see straight hair and then curls. Do you know what I mean? So you'll see the true style that you're trying to go for. In terms of the curl that you said, just a bit of water. Have you got anything else in that, like a little bit of curl enhancer or something?
I've just got like some gel in it.
Okay.
Just to give off that wet look, and then as it's drying and I put the gel inside, it's just giving off this more messy look.
Okay, yeah, cool. And is that how you normally like to wear it?
Recently, because of like how I used to have tight curls, and then over time when it's just been kind of, it's just now become more like the ends of a perm. As opposed to, this is a fresh perm.
Yeah, you can see that a little bit. Yeah, only because through the crown is quite straight now. So obviously where you've been having it cut, or you know, like you said, the ends. If you look at where it is, it's starting to straighten up. The best thing to do with the perm is when you look at it from the root, you've got the straight root, and then you've got the kind of strong curl towards the end. So you've got more of what you call an S curl now. So the hair, it's more of a wave in most of the hair now. Are you wanting to lose anything off the top, or are you just wanting it to be cut into a bit of shape?
I think just a bit of shape. I still want to keep this S bend, like in all of it.
Yeah, definitely, that's cool.
I'm not a fan of keeping it straight. That's the thing.
Yeah, that totally get me. I think I always say this on a lot of the videos, like I hate how straight my hair is, because I'm limited. Anyone who's got like kind of like that slightly wavy hair, you can either use straighteners or blow dry it straight, or you can use a diffuser and enhance the curls. You know, you are so lucky to have that slightly less curl in there, like that like kind of wavy hair. It's awesome because you can do two different things, maybe three different things if you want to. Whereas mine and your hair is straight and that's it. You know what I mean? And then you have to work with the styles you've got for that, or you get a perm, which is a brave thing to do because not everyone does that. You know, commits to that. So I think it's awesome. But yeah, I do think if we work down, if we do maybe like a sort of low to medium height on the fade, we can work up into this length because you've still got a slight bit of curl through the corners here. So I think if we can work to that, so I wouldn't necessarily do a disconnection as such. I think it would look like a bit of a kind of 90s kind of curly mop. But if what we do is a very, very low blend through the sides here, so we keep a lot of the weight through here, but then we've got that nice short through the bottom here as well. So I think that would work really well. I think getting away from your natural straight texture as much as possible and just showing off your curls will bring this style a bit more to life, I think personally. So,
sweet, I agree.
Happy, yeah? Yeah. Sweet, man. All right, let's give it a shampoo conditioner and get started. Cool. So guys, I've just shampooed and conditioned Kieran's hair, and I also applied a little bit of oil to it as well. So what it does, it adds the condition back, but especially when you've got especially a perm, it's very dry, because you are breaking down the DNA of your hair. That's basically what a perm does. It breaks down your natural DNA to the point where you've got like kind of a bend and a wave. All right, I know there's a lot more technical stuff to that, but that's essentially what it does. So we need to put a lot of condition back in there. So what we'll do is I'm going to start with a horseshoe section for this one. I want to separate the back and sides to the top. Okay, because again, essentially the top looks nice. I think we just need to add the shape to it. So once we get the fade in and we connect it through, I think maybe just adding a little bit of texture, just breaking it up slightly, and maybe just a quite harsh slide cutting would be quite nice. Because again, this is like not a natural curl, so it won't move around as naturally as a normal, like natural curl will. So we can force that a little bit to move it a little bit easier for them. So let's start with our horseshoe section. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to work the number 2 to probably about here, okay? Now again, because we've got the kind of contrast as well of the kind of straight hair with the curl, the higher up we go to the point where I can still get my fingers through it, will cover the straightness of his hair there. So the main focus for Kieran will be the curls. So 2 on first, again we'll work to about here, okay? I'm working up and off. In that motion, I'm flicking up and off. There's a variety of ways to fade. Now, lately I've just been mixing it up a little bit, just because it's always nice to see which way and which different ways you can fade. So I've been doing this lately on, especially on one of my friends who's got like super thick hair. I've been working a 2 into then a 0.5 line, working the 0 into the 0.5 and working up and off. And I'll explain in a minute one of the reasons why I do that. And I really like the way this one turns out. I'm really enjoying the process of this one actually as well. So I'm going to do this today on Kieran. Now, I'm going to go straight in with a half now. Okay, so we'll start around this side on the right hand side. Now this is a good one for, I'd say, beginner barbers. Okay, it's much easier to blend out a 0.5 than it is a 0, right? Especially if you're not used to working through the lever of the clipper or anything like that. This is a nice way of doing it because you do the half first, then you blend the 0 into the half, and all that is just very small maneuver of the lever up into the half. You're not having to try and then do the 0, get your half, work it up and off, make sure you're getting the right line of the half. A lot more things to think about, but this is a much easier way of getting that 0 into the half, blend it out quickly and easily as well. And working up and off. Now, remember we're doing a 0 to about here, so my half's gonna go a bit higher. So just bear that in mind. And work up and off. Again, same idea, drop it down, but this time you're just gonna go a little bit higher than you would do with the 0. My half is done. I'm going to work down to my 0 line now. Now you're probably thinking, why am I doing a 0 line? But we do. Put a 0 line in a little bit, work through the lever very slightly so it's close there, a little bit open. Just using the corner of our guard, flick it out. And all I'm doing is flicking away. I'm kind of basically putting in and pulling away really quickly. A little bit lower down now, a bit higher up, into a 0.5. And down to a 0.5, finish. Now that's a 0 blended into a half. Do your 0 line, work down the lever, tiny bit down using the corner, pulling up and off, a little bit lower down again, a little bit lower down, using the corner, and there's your 0 blended into the half. Same again, leave a little slightly down, up again. Work it up into our 0 and pull out. No harsh 0 line, still gives exactly the same effect. So anyone who's really kind of struggling with the skin fades or anyone who's just not confident, I think the back and sides probably took me about 10 minutes to do. And just pulling away as I get to with a long hair finishes. That's where my 0 is. So again, leave that little line of longer hair. Shows you where your 0 started, so you can pull away as you get to the top of it. Now I'm just going to pull that over because there isn't much stretch in the mask, so I can't get the mask extender on it. Look at that, that's so seamless and so effortless as well. Lower down this time, mini's finished up there, pull away a little bit lower down. And that way we're not creating any harsh 0 skin line to really, so if you struggle to get it out, it's a really nice way of doing it. Move on to our number 1. I'll show you how quick it is on this side. 1.5, scooping out to our 2, like so. Go in the middle. So just to be a perfectionist, 1 guard off, half guard on, lever open, flicking a little bit lower down, into our half, and there is your skin fade done. Simple as that. 1.5 up to our number 2, pulling away at the top, down into our 1. Like I said, blending our half out, much easier than blending out a 0 line. Half guard on, open, cross the line, up and off into where your 1 started. Keeping it nice and flat, lever closed into your half, and work across that line. And she's in the corner, doing dark bits. We'll perfect that in a little bit when we do our clipper over comb. The open blade, hold down, leave it down. Just working over anything that I see that I want to perfect. And we work down to match up to our blend. Now from our 2, we'll work up to where we just cut. So your 1.5 guard, open, and work up and off. And just take your time with this, get the shape in right. 1.5 guard, 1 guard, and just work over the line. So that was working up to the 2. And just close the lever and work down until you find absolutely seamless. I'm going to work scissor over comb now. I'm working up from a 1.5, just working up and off. Smaller teeth, finer teeth, goes down to like a 0.5. And you just pick at little bits as well, just because the hair grows so thick. And last but not least, let's just give a little bit of shape to this hairline, just through the temple area here. So working onto the top now. Now again, curls on top, we'll try and make use of that perm, make it kind of sit as curly as possible, so the longer it is, the better that'll be. And what I want to do, I just want to connect that to that point of where we just blended to. And this is going to create that kind of, that slight sort of undercut impression, because obviously we're bringing that weight down to sit on top of the blend, but as it dries, we put a bit of texture in, it won't sit like an undercut, it'll sit more blended in, but you'll see a lot of length through the corner. Right out straight. Work over a little bit, and then we'll pull this all the way down, with the way around. Slightly diagonal now, to maintain the length at the front, nice and straight, and connect to our guide underneath. Same again. Working right across the center now. We start to take a little bit through here. By working horizontally with the diagonal section, just starts to break up the section through the top, but just allows them to keep some length through there. And we also still have a slight bit of connection. So we have some longer bits coming from here that sit into the blend, some bits underneath that are blended in, some bits that are blended in, some bits that aren't. It just creates that undercut effect with a connection in there too. Slight diagonal now, and some guide underneath, there we go. One last one, across, now all the way over. There we go. So having connection, disconnection, connection, disconnection. Now through the top, what we'll do is just towards the back, let's take it down a touch. Now what I call this is like a sort of halo section. We work around, so from before the apex to the head, we work all the way around the crown, just slightly going a bit short here, just disconnecting the crown slightly. All that'll do, it'll just leave a bit more length through this front in that kind of angle. So then we've got a lot more to play around with. Just put that much off, just gonna cut into it. And we're doing work in the middle, out, following, in this angle, all the way around. And stop there. Like that. Next section we do now, around the crown. Just cutting into that crown a little bit. I always find just by taking it a tiny bit shorter will just help to style, especially towards the back, because especially when the back gets long, it becomes very hard to style and cut. Get forwards. I'm going to slice through the hair now. Start to break up the thickness Kieran's hair. Start to really thin out that curl. Hopefully try and help that curl spiral a little bit more. The thinner it is on a perm, usually it spirals a little bit easier as well. Get up, slide through, it just breaks it up. A little bit longer this side, so I'm just going to make it a bit more even. It'll just be a bit easier for him. Just very short. Chops into this with slightly blunt, but still that kind of slightly pointed edge. Point this, I'm just going to have a slight connection in that corner. As it falls forward, it just falls nice and straight through there. Just have a little bit more of a slight blend into there as well. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dry it off with some salt spray and a little bit more oil as well. Salt spray into there. Put a little bit of oil in as well, the condition. And then I'm going to dry a bit of the Regal Gentleman matte clay into. Again, I always find drying things in is sometimes better than applying like a hairspray or like the gel you had in when you came in. As wet and great as it looked, it was very crispy. I'm rubbing it all through. I'm scrunching it in to the hair when it's damp. There we go. Scrunch it as much as you can because I want to dry it as wavy and as curly as I possibly can, so it's also really, really scrunch it in. Always adding like a bit of friction to it. But you see how curly that's gone now. Put your diffuser, medium speed, high heat. I'm going to start just at the crown. Just using my fingers just to scrunch that through. So try and break up that slight wave we've already got through there. We're starting with the sides, going to hold it above and start to dry it in the shape it's already at now. There we go. So by drying the clay in, the hold is much stronger than if you applied it when it was dry, because we've dried it into the hair. Obviously that natural curl he's got, well, natural curl he's got, coming from the pen. And that works into your fade on the back side of that. So a little bit of shape through the temple, just to give that little bit of kind of pop to the fade itself. Get a little bit of weight at the back, so as you bring it out, it allows you to keep crown. I think the problem is when you do anything that's really kind of lying on your face, you take the crown off, it all just becomes very front heavy. So by keeping some crown in there, it takes the balance. See the way the balance is not just really flat there and loads of fringe, you've got a little bit of crown. And it just, I think it just balances the profile. Same that side as well.
Nice.
Happy, yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome, man. I love it, mate. That was a wicked haircut to do that, actually. It's been so long since I've done a perm. I cut a perm as well. It's wicked.
It's so interesting just hearing you talk about everything. Like, you know when you hear people that cook food?
Yeah.
And it's so passionate. Like, as I was listening, like, crunching their hair, it's crispy. I was like, this guy's a genius.
It's quite seductive, isn't it?
It is. I was like, I've never heard hair being spoken like this. Like,
I know.
fucking love.
Wait, well, you know, I mean, yeah, I suppose,
Yeah.
I know,
I mean,
in that way, 100%, yeah. But, and yeah, I think, you know, I get a bit too into it sometimes, so that's the problem, I think.
That's good. It's good. I love how meticulous you are.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
I was learning from it. I was like,
oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. I wanted to do a skin fade purely because you've got the curls on top and his hair is obviously a completely different texture around the back and side. So I think removing that as best and as kind of stylish as we can, I think doing that skin fade is a good one. I'm not going too high, but still cutting enough off that it doesn't look like obviously you know he's obviously got a different texture on the top, but it's not something that's a focus point. The focus is the fade, it looks really sharp, then you've got the curls on the top. More than it being like he's got like an overgrown kind of maybe a one, really straight, you'd see too much of a difference in terms of texture. And that is the finished product. Happy?
yeah, man.
Sweet, man. Thank you so much, man.